I mean, what do we have to do to get him to run? That's my question for you guys. What will it take? Like, do you guys want to fucking clip out this video and send it to him? Look, John, I'm appealing directly to you. I hope you're listening. I hope you're watching. I hope you care. The bottom line is, I know you probably don't want this, but your country needs this.
You know who does seem like they might have some big dick energy to bring to the White House?
Who's that?
John Stewart. And our man, our good, close, personal friend of the show, Kyle Kulinski, has been beating the motherfucking drum for this guy. All right, we've been covering Kyle's demand to see John Stewart get in the race since January of this year. He was one of the first broadcasters that I was aware of that was really, really hammering, like, John, you got to do this for the greater good. John, you got to do this for the greater good. He has released another plea, Gavin.
Yep. And this video actually came in the context of a larger Kyle Kulinski piece where they were actually talking about how AOC would have a chance if she decided to run in 2028. Kyle, I don't know if it's in this clip, but Kyle was basically saying that AOC should run for the Senate against Chuck Schumer. That would be his preferred route. And then for John Stewart to run as, president, which I agree with if John Stewart's going to run for president. In that case, I do think AOC should probably just challenge Chuck Schumer. But I am worried about, in a world where John Stewart doesn't run for president, there not being enough truly progressive energy on that debate stage. But I really am a fan of what Kyle says here in his pitch to Stewart. I hope this gets its way to John Stewart's ears because he needs to hear it.
I mean, what do we have to do to get him to run? That's my question for you guys. What will it take? Like, do you guys want to fucking clip out this video and send it to him? Look, John, I'm appealing directly to you. I hope you're listening. I hope you're watching. I hope you care. The bottom line is, I know you probably don't want this, but your country needs this. Okay? The bottom line is we're in a new political era, and that new political era is built around the fact that we have entertainment brain, right? We have short fucking attention spans. Everybody wants entertainment 24/7, which is why Trump was able to come along and break the Republican Party and become the leader of the Republican Party and become president multiple times. It's because he's charismatic. He's an entertainer. He understands TV. Well,
and not just TV, social media. He understands social media. That was such an underrated aspect of Trump in general, but specifically Trump 2016. He understood social media better than any candidate, specifically in the Republican Party, but on either side of the aisle. And there's a fucking reason why, we got our first reality TV president right when cell phone usage became totally mainstream. And when everyone all of a sudden had a stupid fucking cell phone with an, algorithm in their pocket, like that's obviously the correlation that led to Trump's, rise in politics because he understood social media. So in addition to TV, Kyle's obviously 100% right about that, but it's worth noting that too.
Oh, 100%. The entire weaponization of the news cycle in every single form, television, internet, across the board. And also, shout out to the Diary of a Wimpy Kid collection up in the top left corner over here.
Yo, that's fucking lit. I love those books.
Effectively, the Trump of the left. You're actually entertaining, charismatic, funny, not afraid to go there, but also you know how to fucking fight. And more importantly, you're correct on the issues. Basically, if you run and you win, what we're doing is we're marrying the politics of Bernie Sanders, the policies of Bernie Sanders, with the fucking charisma and fighting ability of somebody like Trump. And that's what we need. I'm sorry. A lot of these Democrats
and funny like Trump. People, another thing that was really, really underestimated from the left, from the Democratic Party about Donald Trump was how hilarious he was. And that was disarming to people, right? I was really recently watching that Vice is Broke documentary, and they were exploring Gavin McInnes. And they talked about how Gavin McInnes went from being like an edgelord, I'm only joking, like, God, take a joke, to being like a literal fucking anti-Semite, proud boy, I hate anybody who's not white. And they were talking about how his own edgelord humor, he kept going deeper and deeper down into the, I'm only joking about being a Nazi. And then finally one day he just came out the other side as a Nazi. I'm not making excuses for Gavin McInnes. He's a fucking racist piece of shit, but it does disarm people. It lowers their inhibition. That's how Nazis recruit, right? The, I'm only joking thing is a big part of the way that Nick Fuentes recruits for people. Oh, it's like an edgy joke. Oh, bro. And then slowly over time, you get to the point where it's like, no, I'm not joking. This is what I actually think. And that was really, really important for how Donald Trump, kind of built his entire MAGA movement. I think John Stewart could do that for good. He could make people laugh and be like, oh, you know what? Wokeness actually isn't so bad. It's actually good to, have compassion for people. It's actually good to take care of your neighbors. I'm going to make it kind of funny to not like that. You know what I mean? I'm going to invert that whole thing, and it will disarm people, and it will make him not seem threatening, and it'll make him seem inviting as a political candidate and representative of a movement.
Right. And I think John Stewart's perfect when it comes to that, because even when he is repping like quote unquote woke positions, he never comes off like a moralizer. He never comes off like he's condescending to you in a moralizing fashion. A great example of that was his brilliant joke about the Wuhan coronavirus lab, you know, at a time when the liberal media was still calling that theory racist.
Colbert for that.
And, you know, saying that it was like problematic to discuss like Wuhan, China or whatever. Like John Stewart just cut right through the bullshit. It was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to say this mostly because it's funny, but also because it's probably true. I to this day still don't know if the lab leak thing is 100% legit, but either way, it was funny enough to warrant the joke, and he totally went there. So yeah, he totally has that instinct. Yeah.
Like politicians, they're very politician-y. They're very inauthentic. It's very like, it's hard to even listen to them when they talk. It's easy to listen to you when you talk, bro. It is easy. And so again, I know you don't want it. I wouldn't want it either, but we need it. The country needs it. And I think, I mean, I know it's insane to say, but like, I think you'd win easy. Who can go toe-to-toe with John Stewart when it comes to wits, right? Who can go toe-to-toe with him when it comes to charisma? The guy knows how to talk. The guy's right on the politics. He's actually more well-versed on the substantive issues than even most politicians. I mean, it's fucking obvious, but
yeah. And I totally agree with that too. Like it's just one of those things where some people, when they talk, you listen. Some people, when they talk, you stop listening. Like Kyle's totally right about John Stewart being one of the kind of guys who, when you talk or when they talk, you listen. Kind of the opposite of that fucking idiot who we just watched on
Put Me to Sleep
on Gin and Pump's show. I've had it. Yeah. He was just like, blah, 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 like what? You have to fucking force yourself to pay attention to the words coming out of his mouth.
Jeff Duncan.
Jeff Duncan.
Can't even remember his name. We just read it like 3
Jeff
times.
Duncan. Yeah. What a worthless piece of shit. Either way. Yeah, John Stewart, you know, not only because of his humor, but just not even when he's being funny, though. Like, look at some of the footage of him grilling the House or the Senate or whatever with the 9/11 first responders bill. Like, that's about as unfunny a subject matter as you could possibly get. Like, if you want to be honest, that's like deeply fucked up, disturbing, horrifying stuff. It's not funny at all. But if you listen to him talk about it, you actually pay attention. You know, he forces you to understand what he's saying because of just how good of a communicator he is.
Yeah, 100%. And do you want to go ahead and play some of that just so people can see this is the kind of guy he is? And this was long before anybody was discussing any kind of political run for him. He's never explicitly expressed an interest in running for office of any kind, but he's always shown up for 9/11 first responders.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's about money. We're going to make sure that every one of those people goes on record and is held accountable for the illnesses of our veterans.
You don't think this music is going to get as fucked, do you?
I mean, we can switch to something different if you'd like.
I don't care. I just was asking your opinion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have no idea. So we can switch to this one.
I will treasure it like I treasured Ray and our friendship.
Oh, this one also has bullshit,
God damn
fucking
it.
stupid melodic music in the background. Just fucking let's hear John Stewart. Jesus Christ. Either way, we can fucking find a different clip at some point when we're not on the spot.
Yeah, either way, you guys should check it out. He speaks very well on this matter. I think he speaks well on many matters. I think you could also reference the legendary takedown of Tucker Carlson on Crossfire, because he's really good at being like, okay, buddy, you want to battle wits? Like, I'll get in there and I'll slug it out with you. And then also returning to his message, being earnest again, addressing the viewer at home. Like, oh, okay, you want to get quick with me, Tucker? Fine, I'll deal with you for 1 second. You'll run out of steam, and then I'll go back to addressing the people at home. That's what makes me think he would be wonderful on a debate stage. I don't know who could go toe-to-toe with him on the debate stage. I think he could wipe the floor with anybody, the best talent that the Democrats have.
100%. Also, just unfortunately, we have to discuss this. Assume that Trump starts trying to criminalize or go after his political opponents. I think it's going to be a lot harder to paint John Stewart as being corrupt than someone like Gavin Newsom. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I think John Stewart would be infinitely more sympathetic to the American people if Trump tried to go after him in some bullshit way, you know, accuse him of some trumped up charges, right? Again, with someone like Gavin Newsom, not that I think it would be at all legit, but he is, you know, he's been a politician for so long. He's probably been involved with so many shady people and shady deals that you could maybe, you know, convince a section of the public that he's like corrupt or whatever if Trump wanted to. With someone like John Stewart, I think the entire country, even right wingers, would be like, no, fuck no. You can't like go after this guy. Like I can't, for example, look at the way that Joe Rogan and crew responded to the attack on Jimmy Kimmel. I think that says it all. And John Stewart's like 10 times more likable and funny and honest than Jimmy Kimmel. But I think you'd see the same thing where normies like Joe Rogan, they just have an instinct to defend a guy like John Stewart over just some smarmy career politician who probably is a total fucking crook like Gavin Newsom.
Oh, 100%. Here's the other thing. Gavin Newsom has so much baggage because he's going to be carrying decades of propaganda that the Republican Party has run every single day about California being a disaster, third world country, like a disgrace to the nation.
Look at all the homeless people.
Exactly. 100. Oh, we need to have a civil war between the rest of the country and California. He's run it into the ground. Look at what he did to Hollywood. Our best fucking industry has gone and crippled because of him. All of these things. He made Silicon Valley woke. He made tech woke. We're now behind. All these things that Donald Trump could lob at Gavin Newsom to take him down that would have no impact at all on John Stewart running. Why? Because he doesn't have any baggage. That was another big piece of the puzzle for Donald Trump. Why did Donald Trump have more success the first time around than he did the second time around? He won again the third time around, but on that second time around, when he was president, he couldn't throw bombs from the outside. He couldn't be the guy that was just being relentlessly critical of the establishment and of the status quo because he was the status quo. But in 2016, he didn't have a record at all. He could make anything up. He'd never voted for anything. Any position that he'd taken was him on a phone for Fox News, and nobody really took that seriously, right? So he had this blank slate, and he used it to his advantage. I think John Stewart could use it to his advantage too.
100%. People talk about like all the cons of being politically inexperienced. There's a lot of pros to being politically inexperienced, and that's probably the number one thing. Because again, obviously, I think that there's a solid chance that someone like Gavin Newsom could take out Donald Trump in a general election. I'm not trying to minimize someone like Gavin's chances at all. I do think that by 2028, if there's an election, there's a decent chance that Americans are just ready to get back to someone who seems competent and normal compared to the unhinged, motherfucker that is Donald Trump, in the same way that, Americans voted for Joe Biden. But I do think that, no matter what, no matter how good of a campaign someone like Gavin Newsom puts on, the whole general election is just going to be video clip after video clip after video clip of the homeless encampments on the streets of Los Angeles and the streets of San Francisco. And it's just going to be clip after clip after clip of Gavin Newsom having to defend his record in California against those, against that footage, right? Which is dramatic to someone who's like living in the fucking suburbs and has never been to a big city or something. You could scare people with that shit. Whereas John Stewart, he doesn't really have a record to have to answer for. There's no fucking homeless people on his streets. He's just a dude. He's a comedian. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have all of this baggage in the way that Gavin Newsom does, or in the way that Josh Shapiro does, with the Ellen Greenberg case, which we've talked about in the past.
100%. And the other benefit, I keep comparing him to the benefits that Donald Trump offered, but I think that there are a staggering amount of them, none the least of which being Donald Trump benefited from the fact that he had been invited into people's homes and they had watched him nightly on Sunday nights when The Apprentice came out for over a decade, right? He had been a fixture in reality television, right? Which of course means that he understood it and he understood the media, but it also means people had spent a lot of time watching him. He was the guy that was projected into their home as what success looked like in America. He was a business mogul. He was a tycoon. He was the guy that they saw always walking off of a helicopter with a beautiful woman and, the world at his fingertips, right? That's what they imagine him being. John Stewart is a guy that they invited into their home to listen to him castigate the rich, to castigate the idiots, to lampoon the people who were making their lives worse instead of better, the government, right? And I think that familiarity, the fact that when they have thought about John Stewart, not only did he make them laugh, not only did he make them feel better at the end of their long, shitty day, but he was also standing up for them. He was also calling out the bullshit that was coming down from the government, which was supposed to be helping people and was instead hanging them out to dry.
100%.
Look out the door if you hear an ambulance. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard there, sir. The Vanguard will be there, sir. The Vanguard will be there. Be there. The Vanguard.